Arthur Horne, Lady Ashley Horne, Shepherd Mother Geneva Oliver Smith, elders, deacons, Apostolic Revival Center family, visitors, each of you in your respective place. In conclusion of our Black History theme for 2023, Black Resistance, chosen by the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. To resist means to refuse to comply, to challenge the system. Today, I want to say thank you to everyone who has been a part of our annual Black History program for over 30 years. It's probably 35, but I'm saying over 30 years. Our late pastor, the late, great, honorable Dr. Gilbert Sinclair Smith. When I came here, Adrian Barr and Antoine Hudson asked Dr. Smith about starting a Black History program, and Dr. Smith said yes, and we've been going ever since. Shepherd Mother Geneva Oliver Smith, whose idea it was for me to use the science board instead of the bulletin board out front where the drinking fountain is. I made the mistake of listening to someone and took it down one time. Didn't do that again. I kept all of her items, but she's the one who told me to use the science board to display. And as a result, I have about 30 years to 35 years, I have a little museum of my own that I can now show it at any time. This year, as you can see, that's one of my old boards. I retired and I said, I'm not going to any school supply stores this year. So I did not make a board, Black Resistance, this year. I just came, because I'm away. So I just came and just took one out and brought it out here, and there it is. And I have a museum to display all over. I'm missing 3 of my boards. I let one of my teachers who retired hold one. Every time I see her, give me your number, I'm bringing you your board. That's been 20 years. And I let another teacher, she's a Catholic, and because she saw the work that we were doing here, she started, let me stop, slow down. She's asked me about using the board, and I let her use one time. She showed me the pictures, Sister C, and she called me Miss C. Somebody took the board. They used the gym for theirs. And they started as a fundraiser. They do their Black History program, and that's their foreign mission. And the gym is so packed, so somebody took one. And my cousin right now has one that she has for 3 years that she claimed that I gave it to her, but I told her, no, I did not, so I'm getting it when I come back. So as a result, I have all of that, and thank you to Pastor Horne and Lady Horne for letting us continue this journey in Black history. I want to remember the youth workers who some gone on to be with the Lord, Sister Dot Brown, Sister Tilly, who recently went to be with the Lord, Sister Christine Cutler, Sister Bunseal Hudson, who's still here, Sister Faith Williams over here, Sister Connie and Brother Swain, and Brother Johnny Barkley, who used to come out and assist us with those kids. That's when we had a lot of kids, and we put on those shows, put on those programs, our Black History program. And I want to say to Sister Talicia, who would drive the kids, thank you. And now we have Sister Tabitha Wilcox, DeAndre Blunt, who's assisting me, and Antonisha Harris. And I want to say thank you to everyone. But I'll let everybody know why you don't see me, because I am retired. I thank you, and I thank you, everyone. But in February, you know that's my month. So I will be back in February and in other times. But Black resistance. 100 years ago, the Rosewood Massacre, January 1923. Rosewood was a small African-American community on the Gulf Coast of Florida. Rosewood was located in Levy County, less than 50 miles from Gainesville, Florida. It had its own school, churches, even a store, sugar mill, and a turpentine still. On New Year's Day in January 1923, a white woman who lived in Sumner, just a few miles from Rosewood, claimed that an African-American man had attacked her. African Americans were certain that the white woman's boyfriend had beaten her up. It didn't matter. The entire town of Rosewood suffered for a week. Whites were joined by others from as far away as Georgia and other Florida cities. They brought terror to the African American community. burning homes, churches, and the school. The difference between Rosewood and those other riots is this one lasted for 7 days out in the fields in the cold, the children and everyone. If you, in 1983, 60 Minutes with Ed Bradley did a special on the Rosewood Massacre, and this year is 100 years. Certain of the descendants were still alive and told their story of how they were out in the cold being hunted like rabbits. But God. The names, I learned about Rosewood, as I say, in 1983. The massacre was dramatized in 1997 film Rosewood by director John Singleton, and only a historical marker remained of what was once a thriving town of Rosewood. No one was ever prosecuted or held accountable for the Rosewood Massacre. They have since sometime given out scholarships, but that does not, the pain of what went on there 100 years ago has not subsided. This is how generational wealth was lost from our family members. Every time a thriving town, Ocoee, 1920, Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Greenwood, 1921, Perry, Florida, 1922, Rosewood, 1923, and it goes on and on and on. But the town that freedom built, Edenville, Florida, 1887, the first all-black city to be incorporated in Florida. Edenville was established in 1887 after being 2 decades after the Civil War ended by former slaves who came from Georgia, Alabama, and other southern states. Located 6 miles north of Orlando, Florida, my county, Orange County, this is my county, Edenville. The town got its start when former slave Joseph Lee Clark, along with northern philanthropist Lewis Lawrence, bought over 100 acres of land from Josiah Eden, one of a few white landowners willing to sell to African America. And on August 15, 1887, the town was officially incorporated with 27 registered black voters, indicated their intent to create a municipality. The mayor, the police chief, and city councilor were all African Americans. And for those of you who remember football, Deacon Jones is from Edenville, Florida. He was called the former Los Angeles Ram pro football player, along with Gail Sayers, was called one of the fearsome four, is from Edenville. And as we travel through Edenville, we see St. Lawrence African Methodist Episcopal Church, founded in 1881, predating the town by 6 years. The first school, Hungerford High School, that he graduated from, is still there. And central to Edenville was the church, the school, and the community. Edenville is best known for Zora Neale Hurston, author, anthropologist, folklorist, graduate of Howard, part of the Divine Nine Zeta Phi Beta sorority. She was part of the movement called the Harlem Renaissance during the 1920s. She wrote Muse and Men, Their Eyes Were Watching God, Tell My Horse, Moses the Man in the Mountains, and her autobiography about Edenville, Dust Tracks on the Road. And some of you have been to Edenville before. Now Edenville holds an annual Zora Neale Festival, a yearly month-long celebration of arts and humanities in January. The festival, which draws over 100,000 visitors to this small town annually. Edenville, the town that thrives today, rich in heritage and tradition, that is a vital part of the African-American history and Florida. And I forgot, for those of you who remember Club E, Ella Fitzgerald and all those people went to, but for my era, it was called the Rainbow, that people used to go to. But as we conclude our Black history, I want you to remember that nearly 179 years ago, the Reverend Henry Highland Garnett proposed the only path to freedom, justice, and equality, self-determination, and our social transformation is resistance. In the thunderous tone, Reverend Garnett shouted, "Let your motto be say it with me, resistance, resistance, resistance." This is Sister Bernadine C. sounding off from the historic Apostolic Revival Center, asking you to pass our rich history along to future generations. And remember to resistance, resistance, resistance.